The barriers to sustainable public procurement have been widely documented. Research and people I regularly talk to in public authorities all agree that the lack of budget and knowledge, especially at local level, are major problems. The support public authorities are getting from knowledge center to legal advice also strongly depends from member state to member state, or even from region to region. There's no systematic approach to sustainable public procurement, no binding obligation to take sustainability into account, and little unified resources to help practitioners. We should also not forget that public procurement in general, as organized by the 2014 directives, is facing a lot of problems. A European Court of Auditor report from this month found out that most tenders only receive a single bid. In this context, it is hard even for well-meaning and well-trained procurement officers to procure sustainably. More than lack of will or lack of interest, I believe that the main obstacle to sustainable public procurement is a lack of budget in many public authorities. This is why making all products sustainable by default, whether or not they are bought for public authorities, is a very good way forward. If sustainable products only represent a tiny portion of available products and are significantly more expensive than other options, procurers and decision makers have to be incredibly strong-willed to choose sustainable products. The issue of cost was, for example, central in recent discussions on mandatory sustainability criteria for the procurement of net zero technologies in the recent negotiations of the Net Zero Industry Act in the European Parliament. It was very difficult to find a majority in favor of sustainability obligations for public authorities. During this mandate, it has been consistently difficult to advocate for reopening of the 2014 directives to improve their sustainability angle. However, many sectoral pieces of legislation, and several of them in IMCO, have touched upon sustainable public procurement. While the directives focus on procedures, the legislation on specific products we have enacted in the frame of the European Green Deal will contribute to more sustainability. Take, for example, the EU battery regulation. It contains one article which requires public authorities to take sustainability into account when purchasing goods with batteries, including EVs. I wish that such a provision was in every product legislation, but we are not there yet. Though we are working on it. We must also look at our efforts to make all products on the internal market sustainable by default. From the right to repair to the new eco-design regulation to new rules on building efficiency, all these improvements we enacted in the last 5 years will contribute to public authorities procuring more sustainable products. As I said before, making products sustainable by default on the internal market is the best way to support sustainable public procurement. The new eco-design regulation will soon replace the 2009 directive, and it contains specific provisions on green procurement. The new product passport should also help public authorities to better perform checks and controls and assess the sustainability of products. The eco-design regulation will be part of the legacy of this European Parliament, and I trust that it will be a significant contribution to our transition. I think that professional trainings of procurement officers and an unwavering commitment at the local political level are first steps towards achieving a big impact in strategic procurement. Public procurement is made with public money, and therefore nothing can be left to chance. Your conference and networks are essential to give the necessary backing and knowledge to individuals. I wish you all the best with your work.